Let me quickly explain to you how to increase your business credit card limit. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Suited Kiwi Show. How are you today? Hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you had to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's discussion, I want to explain to you how to increase your business credit card limit. One thing I need to say right off the bat is that getting a high credit limit on your business credit card can be either beneficial or detrimental for your small business. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. What type of business do you have? Is it a sole proprietorship, an LLC, an LP, an S Corp, or C Corp? If you have a sole proprietorship, chances are you're not going to get a high credit limit because the bank is looking at you. The credit card issuer is looking at you as, I would say, a higher risk. Why? Because there is no divorce between your personal affairs and your business's affairs at the sole proprietorship level. But if you have a legit business, let's say you have an LLC, an LP, an S Corp, or C Corp, you stand better chances of having a high credit limit. It's important to understand that credit limits, the decision to raise or reduce a credit limit will actually depend on a few things. You have the credit rating, the personal income, the business income, the loan repayment history, the current debt to credit ratio, and the amount of collateral backing that you have. There are pros and cons of increasing your business credit limit. What are the pros? You have more buying power. That makes sense. You have access to better rewards and more rewards. You can access emergency funds. This is really good from a liquidity strategy, right? We'll talk about that later on. And you also can boost your credit score. Why? Because if you have a higher limit, you are indirectly impacting your CUR, your credit utilization ratio, right? So the lower your CUR, the better it is for your personal credit and your business credit. Those are the pros of a higher credit limit. What are the cons? You have more debts. Big decision time. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to talk to me. What are the debts currently sitting on your balance sheet? Talk to me. What is the amount? Can you handle it? Does that affect your liquidity in the short term, in the medium term? This is important because if you ask for a higher credit limit, what you're asking for is the ability to access a larger pool of debt. The second disadvantage of increasing your credit limit is that you might get some hard credit inquiries, right? Depending on how your business is set up, you might get inquiries at the personal level and or at the business level. You also have limited loan availability. In other words, the more risk lenders are, the more risk you carry, the more credit you carry, the less loan, the fewer loans they're willing to extend to you. And this makes sense, right? Because we are speaking about risk mitigation here. The very first step, if you want to raise your business credit card limits the right way, you want to do some research. Very important. You want to research and understand your credit history. What are the things that are impacting your credit history? And here I'm speaking about simultaneously researching and understanding factors that affect your personal credit history and or your business credit history. For example, you want to look into your credit card or loan statements. You can tap into a free or paid credit score service. There are several services that will provide you with your credit report and credit score for free or for a fee. We have annualcreditreport.com at the individual level that provides a free credit report every 12 months. And you also have a Credit Karma, you have Nerd Wallet, you have Wallet Hub. Those are apps that gives users constant free access to their credit score and report through their websites or mobile apps. What I'm trying to say here is that it's important to understand what you really are looking for. If you want let's say you want a small increase, let's say you want to raise your business credit card limit to from 50 grand to 75 grand, or from 50 grand to 100,000 grand, right? That's a $100,000. That's a 50 grand difference here. So that delta actually warrants that you do some research. And you want to make sure that the data in your business and personal credit scores is accurate. If you want to go straight to the source, you can purchase your credit reports and scores directly from one of the three major reporting agencies. That's at the personal level, we have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And at the business level, you have Dun & Bradstreet, you have Equifax, and you also have Experian. In some cases, you can access your data even in the SBFE, the Small Business Financial Exchange. Okay, your credit report will outline your full borrowing history, including the good. You have a list of your credit cards, your business credit cards, your loans, and other financial obligations in good standing. The bad, so you will see any accounts for which your payments are past due, as well as other negatives against your credit, such as bankruptcy judgments, liens, foreclosures, or overdue child support payments. Here, I'm speaking about not only the personal level and the business level, because we know for a lot of entrepreneurs in the country, when we speak about business credit cards, we are speaking about a decision-making process that not only touch on the business, but also on the person. You also will be seeing the inquiries. So you'll be seeing inquiries in your report. So this is the kind of research you want to do to make sure that the information in your business credit card, in your business credit reports, is accurate. Step number 2, you want to be liquid. What is that? We're speaking here about liquidity. Liquidity in a business context, right? So we're speaking about cash, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Positive cash flow is everything in the business. Without it, you are more likely to run into trouble keeping up with credit card and other debt payments. Very important. So at the end of the day, before you even contact the credit card issuer asking for a 20 grand or 30 grand or 50 grand increase, make sure from a liquidity perspective you're set. And there are a lot of ways you can do this. If you want to dig into your financial statements, there are a lot of things you can look into to find out if you are doing great or you are scraping by. For example, we have the cash flow statements. This is a quintessential financial statement. So in the cash flow statements, you have 3 sections. You have the cash flow from operating activities. You have the cash flow from financing activities. And you have the cash flow from investing activities. Every cash flow statement in this world, at least in the States, based on the US GAAP, will have those 3 sections. And at the end, you can see that if you take your beginning cash and you compare it to your ending cash, you would see the change, and you want to have a positive change, right? You want to have a positive delta. You can also gauge your liquidity level through something called asset ratio and current ratio. Those are for folks who are interested in ratio analysis here. And asset ratio and current ratio are done from the balance sheet. So you basically take the quick assets that can be monetized very quickly, and you sort of see if they can cover your current liabilities. I don't want to bore you with a course in advanced accounting or intermediate accounting here, but what the bottom line is what there are. So you can look at the cash flow statements to gauge your liquidity level. You can look at the balance sheet, your business's balance sheet, to gauge your liquidity level through the asset ratio, through the current ratio. There is a third ratio called the debt service coverage ratio. This is basically a measurement of your company's cash flow. Let me just explain it this way. This ratio measures your company's available cash to pay current debt obligations. And when we speak about current debt obligation, we are speaking about debts that is due within 12 months. In accounting, when you hear the term current or short term, it means less than 12 months. And if you hear the term long term, it means more than 12 months. Okay. You also want to pay attention to your credit utilization ratio. This is kind of similar to what we know at the personal level, your CUR. This is just means that you are taking how much credit you have outstanding. You divide that by how much credit you have in total. Step number 3. So step number 1, folks, you want to research. Step number 2, you want to be liquid. Step number 3, you want to connect. What are we talking about here? We are speaking about establishing a strong relationship with the credit card issuer, with the bank. This is important. Anytime we speak about this, sometimes we get some kind of weird comments underneath the video. It is important. If you want to increase your business credit card limit, you better have a good relationship with your bank. That's just what it is. And when we speak about having a good relationship with your bank, we're speaking about having an MPR, a multi-product relationship. People are thinking that banks are just made of, they just composed of robots. No, there are human beings. There are people working at those banks, and they understand the context within which your business is operating if you explain it to them. So you want to open a checking account, a savings account. Those are the minimum, okay? A business checking account and or a business savings account. And then if you have money, if you have some cash on the side that you want to invest it, open a business investment account. Open an IRA. You can even hire the bank for services. A lot of banks have services that they offer small businesses, and your goal is to actually expand the depth of relationships with the bank. All right. And by the way, if you want to increase your business credit card limit, it's a lot better to have a business credit card with the bank with whom you do business. All right. What I'm trying to say here is if you don't have an account with them, if you don't have a business checking account or business savings account with them, don't even bother applying for or even trying to get an increase in your credit card, in your business credit card. The same applies for credit unions. Okay. One thing that we have seen in our research that works a lot is if you have 2 relationship managers, very important. You got to have a relationship manager that takes care of your checking, savings, your IRAs, your investments. Let's say your overall relationship with the bank. That's the person. That's one person. And you also need to have a relationship manager for your loans and credit cards. You need to have a credit rep. And guess what? Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Do you have a relationship manager currently for your business? Assuming you do you know his or her name? Assuming you do you call the person? Do you have the person on a first name basis? Talk to me. You need to have that kind of relationship with the person, with both of them actually, the credit rep and the relationship manager. You need to know them on a first name basis. This is how you're going to increase and expand your business because you'll have access to more credit. You can increase your credit limits. You can actually have a conversation with the rep. You can exchange things about your business with them so that at the right time, you can get the limits that you need. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweet Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. We're still having a conversation about how to increase your business credit card limits. Step number 4, you want to call. You want to contact your credit card company. In our view, it's just a lot better to just go to a branch, sit down with someone, and have a conversation. If you can't do it for some reason, then you want to call. You want to call the person. You want to call that line and speak to someone. If you plan to call your credit card company to request a line increase, you should be prepared with all the information you'll need to complete the process. So requesting your increase by phone can help improve your chances of approval because you have the opportunity to discuss your request and arrive at a new limit that feels comfortable to both you and your lender. The same applies for if you go to a branch to have that conversation. Please be prepared to make a strong case for why you should receive a higher credit limit. It's important. We call this you need to motivate your intent motivation. You need to tell them why they should give it to you. There could be several reasons. For example, you can mention years as a loyal customer, as a loyal cardholder. Let me ask you a question here, another big decision time. How long have you had your current business credit card? Do you have one? If yes, how long have you had them? What is the extent and depth of business you have with this credit card issuer? Those are things you should talk about, all right? You can also mention a long history of on-time payments. If you have an impeccable history of on-time payments, mention that. It's all about just putting everything on the table that would allow you to be approved. You can also mention frequent use of the card. This is a great opportunity also to tell the bank, hey, listen, I'm using this card a lot, and I'm just bringing a lot of business to you guys, right? I'm using the card. You guys are charging you are charging the 3%, the 2% Visa or MasterCard fees or whatever, and you better increase my limit so that I can bring you guys more business, right? You can also talk about a low balance. So if you use the card frequently, but you have a low balance, in other words, you pay off a lot of the amount that's outstanding, that's kind of cool too. You can also mention increased business income. So you're making more money, you're making more moolah. So this could be a great opportunity to increase the limit. You can also mention plans to make a balance transfer to the account. Step number 5, speaking about moolah, be profitable. This is it. This is really important, folks. Be profitable. At the end of the day, the bank is going to look at your request as a new underwriting decision, right? It's all about risk mitigation. It's all about limiting the exposure they have to your business. So you need to really understand that your income plays an important role. At the end of the day, your credit card issuer pays more attention to your income and cash flows than anything else. Okay? Big decision time. Big decision time. I've spoken to you earlier about your cash flow statements. But do you know about the other two statements that are important? We have the income statement and we have the balance sheet. The income statement, this is the statement that allows you to determine profitability. Folks, I'm not asking you to calculate this yourself. You can hire someone to do it for you. You can actually outsource the whole operation, so you can hire someone in-house to be your accountant. You can outsource the work to a local CPA. You can outsource the work to someone else, maybe someone else very far away. Or you can just use QuickBooks, Expensify, Wave, Xero, those accounting software to get the job done. So an income statement has two main sections. You have revenue, and then you have expenses. And when you subtract expenses from revenue, I'm oversimplifying here though, but when you do this, you get income. Of course, after paying taxes, if you are in the black, if you have a positive result. You have a balance sheet. Balance sheet has three sections. You have assets, what you own, what your business owns, liabilities, what your business owes, and the difference between those two is called stockholders' equity. As a matter of fact, there is a fourth financial statement called the statement of owner's equity, where the bank wants to know more about what kind of equity you have in the business. The reason why I'm telling you all this is that you got to be profitable, but the bank has to be able to reconcile, the credit card issuer must be able to reconcile that profitability to your cash flows. For example, they might ask you for your business bank statements, or if they don't ask you, you want to show them that. You want to show them that you are making money. This will only happen if you don't have a business checking accounts with the credit card issuer where you currently bank. What I'm trying to say is, for instance, if you have a U.S. bank business checking accounts, but you want to raise your limits on a Chase business credit card, then Chase doesn't have visibility into your business account. So they will actually request your business bank statements. Step number 6, folks, you want to be timely. You want to get the timing right. Very important. And this is so interesting also. You got to be opportunistic at several levels. If your goal is to increase your business credit card limit, you got to be there at the right time. For example, If the credit card issuer is doing a promo on a specific business credit card, guess what? Apply for that card. Or if you're lucky that you currently have the card, call the line and ask them if you can also benefit as an existing customer. You can benefit from the promo that's going on. If you're lucky enough to be in an industry with great macro trends, okay, because a credit card issuer will pay attention to your micro, but also to your macro. In other words, the overall trends in the industry, in the sector. For example, if you're in the industry that has been receiving a lot of news coverage in the last few years, on last few days, last few quarters, last few months, if competitors are profitable, if competitors are shrinking, basically, if you have positive news in the industry, this could actually impact the bank's decision. If the company has garnered excellent profitability marks in the last few quarters, let's say your business is on a roll, making money like crazy. If you're making money like crazy, then this could be a good opportunity to apply, some good time to apply for a credit line increase. The bottom line here is that you want to actually match the positive news in the industry and your company with your request to get a line, credit limit increase. If you also have a new big client that's onboarded, this could be also a great opportunity. So the bottom line here is that when you are asking for an increase, make sure you can time the request with something big, with something positive, right? So because if your business is losing money, if you are scraping by, if you are struggling financially, no bank is going to extend you the limit you deserve and need, right? So very important to be strategic, very important to analyze your financials, make sure that everything is accurate and that the time is right. Step number 7, and this is the last, you want to be strategic. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you want to pay attention to a few things, specifically your credit score. You want to pay attention to the kind of card you are applying for. Let's talk about the credit score. Anytime you apply for a new card, you get a hard inquiry at the personal level, but also at the business level in some cases. So the question is, if you're asking for a credit limit increase, is the bank going to do a hard inquiry? Usually they don't. But the problem is that you need to have that conversation with the bank and make sure they don't. You want them to confirm to you that they're not going to check your credit history. The bottom line is that you always have to sign something before, or they have to notify you before they check your credit history. What's important to understand here is that you want to go for credit cards that offer soft pull, or even better, you want to go after credit cards that allow you to submit documents before a decision is made, not online, but at the branch or over the phone. You can also consider a charge card with no preset limit. Okay, so applying for a charge card with no preset limit is an alternative to raising your rewards card limit. For example, we have the American Express Business Gold Card, the Business Platinum Card from American Express, the Plum Card from American Express, and the Business Green Rewards Card from American Express. So it's all about what works for you, because at the end of the day, a charge card gives you the ability to make bigger purchases without having to request a credit line increase. Just make sure that you are able to pay the balance in full each month, because this kind of requires some financial discipline here, or monetary discipline. Because paying in full allows you to avoid interest charges, but you could hit a snag if your business revenue is inconsistent from month to month. Okay, certain charge card can offer some leeway with payments, but the vast majority don't. You can also increase your security deposit for secured card, for example. If you happen to have the Wells Fargo Business Secure Card, you can actually increase your security deposit. So this is part of the strategy that I want you to think about, to think outside the box and look at things, I would say, at a grander level. All right, folks, this was it for today's conversation. I was actually talking to you about how to increase your business credit card limit. Number one, you want to research. Number two, you want to be liquid. Number three, you want to connect. Number four, you want to contact your credit card company. Number five, you want to be profitable and show it. Number six, you want to be timely. And number seven, you want to be strategic. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.